talking about Teddy. Now this is an interview page. Do you see this? It says Q and A. Q stands for the questions that are being asked, and A is for the how they were answered. Now that's exactly what I was talking about when I was telling you that that's how we're going to write our informational paper. Okay, so if you want to do your informational paper on Teddy Roosevelt, well, you already got a great start because you know a lot of the information. But this is what I'm talking about. Like someone would ask this question. And remember how I told you most questions always begin? Who, where, when, why, what, and then we always include how. So the first question, why, hear it, why should we be grateful to Theodore Roosevelt when we visit national parks? Well, the answer is the idea of setting aside area in nature was first suggested by Teddy Roosevelt. He set an example that was followed by every president since his time. So he's the first one that said, hey, wait a minute, we can't build everywhere in America and not have land left and not have parks left for animals and for people. So that's why we can be thankful to him. Also, here's another question. This one starts with in, which is unusual, but it still can happen. In the conservation world, what was Theodore Roosevelt's most important achievement? And this is the answer. He set aside 230 million acres of land for national parks, for wildlife lands, and forests to remain the way they were. That's about the size of the state on the East Coast from Maine to Florida. So he left that much and said, this will always remain parks and you won't build on this land. Here's another question. What would his message be to kids? And the answer is, enjoy the natural world and learn from it. See how we ask the question and then we get the answer. We ask the question, then we get the answer. And that's what you're going to do in your informational writing. Why is it important to set aside places such as Sagamore Hill in addition to the wilderness areas? Well, we better understand people's actions when we understand how they lived. It makes history real for us. It's what I call time travel. When you walk into Roosevelt's study and you see his picture, his desk, and his possessions, you feel a connection. You feel a connection to his life and his spirit that lived there. Remember, Sagamore Hill is the place that he built for his daughter after his wife died. And so that was their home. And this says Theodore Roosevelt's key dates. And this is something else that you can always include in your biography. So what this says is, and your biography is your informational writing, and what this says is that in 1858, he was born on October 27th in New York City. In 1897, he was named the Assistant Secretary of the Navy. See, this is called a timeline, and it tells of all the important things he did in his life. In 1898, he leads the Rough Riders in the Spanish-American War, and he was also elected governor of New York. In 1900, he was elected as the vice president under McKinley. In 1901, McKinley was shot, so Roosevelt became the president. In 1904, he was elected president again, and he was elected president, and he begins the Panama Canal, which is still in existence, and it has had such an impact on traveling by boat because it just saves so much time. And then in 1906, he wins the Nobel Peace Prize for trying to put an end to the war with Russia and Japan. And then in 1912, he loses the race for the presidency. And then in 1919, he dies on January 6th in Oyster Bay, New York. So he was really quite amazing. And that's Theodore Roosevelt. And now you know all you ever needed to know about him. But he really was quite a character, quite a person, quite impressive. And he was one of our presidents. Okay, so thanks for joining me. Talk to you soon.